Hello, welcome to Coast to Coast Gaming Central podcast. This is a special kind of episode. I am actually recording this one by myself. I'm MKGUY, or Jaron Dorsey, usually the host of the game podcast. This time I want to try something a little bit different. As you know, here at Coast to Coast, we do a lot more than just video games. Or at least we tend to, venture off from video games from time to time on our podcast. Today I would like to talk about WWE Elimination Chamber. As you know, quite a few of us are wrestling fans at Coast to Coast. We actually did a WrestleMania prediction show last year, if I recall. WWE Elimination Chamber. This is going to be just a really brief review of what Elimination Chamber was. We'll go into detail a little bit, hit up some of the main matches. And again, this is something different. Might not do it all the time. This is just something different I want to try just to see if any of the subscribers want to hear about it. So this is the Coast to Coast Gaming Central review of the WWE Elimination Chamber live event 2015. So, with that being said, here we are. We're going to get going with the first matchup here. I'm just going to shoot the breeze a little bit. The very first match was the very first ever Elimination Chamber tag match. Now, this was for the tag team titles that the New Day has. This match included the New Day, all three members, and the pre-show leading up to the event. They were able to wiggle the way into having all three members in the chamber. Their opponents were the Primetime Players, the Lucha Dragons, Los Matadores, the Ascension, and Cesaro and Kid. Quality tag team there. A little sloppy at first, but it ended up being a very exciting match. I'd give it about a 3 stars out of 5, somewhere in there. There was some cool high spots, especially with Kalisto climbing all the way up to the top. He looked like he was afraid to drop, but he finally did drop. That was pretty dangerous. El Torito actually climbed up and did a crossbody. The Ascension caught him and tossed him in to, I think, Diego, which then led to them getting eliminated. But overall, a cool concept. I'd like to see it again sometime. Next time, though, I understand, the New Day, they need to get some heat behind them, stuff like that. But I would love to see just a regular format next time, with every team just two teams. Or, sorry, 2 members of the team. There we go. I can't talk. But yeah, I'd love to see that happen. But of course, the New Day won. They've only had the titles for about a month. They need to keep going. Plus, they're actually rolling pretty good. You gotta admit, New Day is doing quite well. As one of my favorite wrestlers, Stone Cold Steve Austin, was on his podcast, they're making chicken salad out of chicken shit. So they managed to do that, and they're doing a great job. And I'm happy that the Primetime Players actually made it to the final 2 as well. And I'm recording this on early Tuesday morning at 1:30 in the morning. I was happy to see that the Primetime Players also got a looks like they're going to be number 1 contenders too because of that. I was good to see the Primetime Players in that spot. Hopefully they can keep this feud going into like SummerSlam or something so they can get a match there. They deserve it. So the tag team title chamber match was pretty good. Moving on. I'm not going to go through the whole card. I'm just going to hit up well, I guess I can go through the whole card real quick. So next up was the Divas match. This is Nikki Bella defending her Divas title against Paige and Naomi. Nikki Bella has been Divas champion for a very long time now. It's got to be since I want to say, gosh, was it Night of Champions or somewhere in there? Maybe Night of Champions, maybe Elimination or Survivor Series, somewhere in there. She's been Divas champ for a long time. She ended up retaining again. I really thought Naomi was going to win, but Paige ended up losing, Naomi ended up losing, and Nikki ended up coming through and getting the victory. Kind of surprised by that again, but then on the other hand, I'm not surprised. At the end of the day, the Bells, I'm pretty sure, are still the most marketable diva right now. So they're just going to keep rolling with that. But eventually, I'm pretty sure either Charlotte or Sasha Banks will come up to the main roster and take her from Nikki. Or Brie is going to turn on her, one of the two. So with that being said, that match was pretty mediocre. I mean, they got a 7-minute triple threat match. It's kind of hard to do a triple threat match in 7 minutes. The Divas still get pretty much shafted. And actually, Nikki, Naomi, and Paige are actually 3 of the best on the main roster. Of course, Natalya needs to be in there as well, but they just, they could not make chicken salad out of chicken shit. So there's that. Kevin Owens versus John Cena. Arguably the main attraction of the show. Definitely the best match of the show. That match was incredible. The most shocking thing wasn't really that Kevin Owens won. It was more of he beat John Cena fair and square, clean. There was no interference. There was no, shaky finish. There was nothing like that. It was straight up a main event fight between the NXT champion and the United States champion. John Cena, Kevin Owens, and they went out there and they put on a hell of a match. I think they got like 20, 25 minutes, something like that. And they went out there and they tore down the house. And there was a clean finish with John Cena losing, Kevin Owens going over. And then Kevin Owens got to cut the promo after the match, pretty much telling Cena that his time is up and Owens' time is now. It was fantastic. And they ended up announcing the rematch like an hour after the match happened. So Money in the Bank, Kevin Owens, Cena 2. But gosh, that was you just can't get enough of how great that match was. Both competitors played their part very well. Kevin Owens came off as the brash, cocky new guy that needed his attitude adjusted, no pun intended. But he ended up delivering on what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to kick Cena's ass, and he kicked Cena's ass. So you can't deny that WWE nailed it with that one. They actually did. And I'm happy for that. And plus, when's the last time you've seen someone the size of Kevin Owens do a moonsault off the top rope and then do a swanton off the top rope as well? I mean, it just doesn't happen. Kevin Owens is pretty damn awesome. Cena, for him being like 37, 38, whatever he is now, he's still going at a high level. And again, this is going to be an awesome feud. Also, reports came out today that Samoa Joe signed on full time, so maybe that feud that they were going to do with him and Owens and NXT, maybe they just started off on Raw, let the two big guys duke it out. That way Cena could continue to do his U.S. Open Challenge stuff, but in the meantime, also, he can work with both Joe and Owens, and we're talking 3 players right there. Cena can make 2 stars right there, because if anyone can make a star out of anybody in the company right now, it's John Cena. They might even be smart to turn Roman Reigns heel and feud him against John Cena, but we'll see. Or maybe the other way around. Maybe Cena becomes the villain and all the kids despise him, and now Roman Reigns can finally be that Superman. But in the meantime, Cena versus Owens is looking to become fantastic. And poor Neville and Bo Dallas had to follow that match. But they did the best that they could. With, Adrian Neville's offense is so exciting that when he hits the red arrow, his finisher, the crowd pops no matter what. So that's a good thing for him. Pretty average match. They didn't make chicken salad out of chicken shit, but they at least made a solid. Also, the next matchup on the card was the Elimination Chamber match for the vacated Intercontinental Championship from Daniel Bryan, who had another neck injury, who earlier in the night in the pre-show said that his career is not over, so we'll see with that. I think they should make him GM someday. But he will sit in that ringside. The competitors in this chamber match were Sheamus, Ryback, Mark Henry, who replaced Rusev because he had the broken ankle now, King Barrett, R-Truth, and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler took majority of the bumps considering he's the smallest guy in the ring. I will say though, this is probably the worst chamber match that's ever been put on. I gotta admit, it's probably it's not probably, it is the worst chamber match that they've ever had. The only cool moments was Dolph Ziggler getting tossed through the pods. Mark Henry comes up this pod early because Barrett throws him through it. But I mean, there really wasn't any highlights in this match. But it is good to see Ryback win his first singles title finally. I will give him that. It is really good to see that. Sheamus, ever since he's been brought back, I mean, he had this feud with Ziggler and stuff like that, but now he's sort of just looking like he's coasting through a little bit again. Now he's in Money in the Bank. I guess it's a cool segue. They actually announced the first 6 competitors for Money in the Bank at the event, which is Kofi Kingston from New Day, so they're going to get involved. Dolph Ziggler, Sheamus, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and Neville. I can't wait to see Neville in the ladder match again, but that's the 6, and WWE made sure to force it through our heads that is not the only competitors that are going to be in the match. That's just the first 6. So, we'll have to take a look and see what happens with that, who gets added, who gets taken away, blah, blah, blah. But for right now, that's the 6. So Sheamus, now he's heading into Money in the Bank. I don't think he's going to win that either. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes after that. I think he'll end up feuding with Ryback eventually, though, for the Intercontinental Championship. So with that being said, chamber match, like I said, worst chamber of all time, but good for you, Ryback, for winning your first title finally. Your first singles title. Actually, any title. I don't even think he won the tag team titles before. I know he didn't with Ryback, so I know that much. So good for you, Ryback. And then the main event, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Now, Seth Rollins may arguably be the best right now. Dean Ambrose is definitely up there, and they put on one hell of a match. Again, like they always do. The finish was, referee got knocked out. Ambrose hits his finisher, 1, 2, 3. Ambrose wins the title. The other ref wakes up and says, no, Seth took me out. Therefore, it's a disqualification. Ambrose wins, but Rollins keeps his title. So then Ambrose didn't want to give up the title, and when the Authority went to take it from him, Roman Reigns came out and helped him out, which resulted in Ambrose and Reigns escaping with the title, leading up to Money in the Bank, which they announced on Raw. They're going to have a ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So, Dean Ambrose is going to keep the title from Rollins until the ladder match. We all know Rollins is going to beat Ambrose for this title because Lesnar needs to face Rollins at SummerSlam. We all know this. Ambrose will get a WWE World Heavyweight Championship at some point, I believe. He's proving to the company that he can be marketable as a main event guy with these few runs he's had with Seth Rollins already. So, it'll be interesting to see, maybe, just maybe, at WrestleMania, the Shield main event's triple threat for the title. Maybe Ambrose finally does beat Rollins at his third crack at him or something, and then Reigns wins the briefcase, cashes in on Ambrose, and all of a sudden we got a triple threat match. There's possibilities there, but we'll see. I think that would be a cool match, though, a triple threat match with the Shield members. There was a cool dynamic at the last pay-per-view they had, Payback, with Orton and the 3 Shield members in a fatal 4-way match, but I think just a straight-up triple threat with the 3 Shield members would be pretty damn cool. So, overall, gosh, I don't even know. The Tag Team Chamber match, like I said, it's 3 stars out of 5. The Divas match is 1 star out of 5. Cena Owens, I'm going to give that a 5-star. That match was incredible. It's a 5-star match right there. Potential. No, you know what? I'll do a 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. Up there for match of the year. 4.5. Neville Bo Dallas, I'll give it 2 star 5. The second chamber match, I'm going to give that 2 stars. It should be 1, but they get a star for being in a chamber. And then again, Ambrose, Seth Rollins, that's a solid 4-star match. So all in all, I mean, it was a really good pay-per-view. I would rate it maybe like a 7 out of 10 on a scale, 7.5 out of 10. Really good pay-per-view. I'd say it's the second best pay-per-view of the year behind WrestleMania, I'm going to say. Really good pay-per-view. They haven't really done any bad pay-per-views yet this year, so WWE needs to keep that up. Usually Money in the Bank is a pretty damn good show, so I hope they keep it up. We'll see. I mean, Money in the Bank rolls right into whatever they do in July now. I think it's Battleground, I think. I don't even know what they do in July. Or do they go straight from Money in the Bank to SummerSlam now? I'm not quite sure. Hopefully they do, because they've had literally, I mean, in a 6-week time frame, they have 3 pay-per-views. That's kind of crazy. So we'll see. But good show from WWE overall. And that was my very quick review of WWE Elimination Chamber 2015, which you watched on the WWE Network for $9.99, or you probably watched it for free, maybe if you were a new customer for the free trial. And also I did watch the Steve Austin Paul Heyman podcast before this. Go check it out. It takes some of the mystique is taken away if you're a casual Austin show listener, because Heyman's been on there more than once. However, this was still a very good podcast on the WWE Network. You should check it out. Austin's going to be doing a podcast with Undertaker and Hogan this summer as well. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong with the network right now. Really good shit coming up on there. Yeah, man, that's all I got for you right now. Again, this is the Coast to Coast review of WWE Elimination Chamber 2015. We are going to be back with a regular Coast to Coast Gaming Central podcast very, very soon. Hopefully this week we're going to do an E3 preview show. If not, we're going to fork that out next week. But definitely we're going to be here for E3. We're going to be covering all your press conferences for you. We're going to be covering all the big reviews, all the big reveals, all the big news, trailers, anything you can imagine, from Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, Bethesda, Square Enix, EA, Ubisoft, hell, maybe even a little bit of PC, I don't know, but we're definitely going to be there. Coast to Coast Gaming Central will be in effect during E3 season. It's Christmas time for us gamers, so you know the deal. But in the meantime, we're also going to talk a little bit about some other stuff too. We here at Coast to Coast, we may be the Coast to Coast Gaming Central podcast, but we also do have some other stuff too that we like to talk about. So look forward to some upcoming content from Coast to Coast. You never know what might be next from us. You don't know what we could potentially be cooking up here in the lavatory, but I can assure you that it will be entertaining. And for all of our fans and all the followers, we do appreciate you for sticking with us through.